on done, baby. I do it naturally.
So Edith, I first want to thank you so much. It really means a lot to me that you are the first guest of Courtside Moms. So thank you for wanting to come here today and share your story with us.
I'm excited to be here.
Thank you.
Very excited. And
So,
thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. We know that you have so much value to bring, and this is what we want to share. All the untold stories about Edith Bennett and her family.
Yep.
Okay. Who is Edith Bennett?
Well, Edith Bennett is, I would say, country girl. Born and raised in Jamaica, Yorton, St. Catherine. I migrated to Canada, Montreal, November 1980. I came up here like my sister sent for me. At that time, they didn't need visa to come to Canada, so she just get me the letter. Apparently, she came to Jamaica, and then that was the first time I met her.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've met her. I only heard about my sister Aileen through my dad, and we only see pictures all the time. So we always said, oh, we have a sister. Her name is Joy, right? So one day I was in Jamaica, and apparently she didn't tell anyone she was coming out. So I was home. It was an Easter, and I saw this lady coming down the path, and I was wondering, who's this lady? So I ran back in and looked at the picture, and I said, oh, that might be Sister Joyce. Oh, she came down, and then we talked, and then apparently we developed a relationship and a bond that when she leaves, she said to me that she's going to send a letter for me. But, you know, everybody, they always say that when they come to Jamaica. And then after they leave, they forget about you. So I said, okay. But lo and behold, I was home one day and I see the letter come. And then I'd have to leave like the second day after I received the letter.
Wow.
So, yeah. So that's when I just came up, November 1980, in the heart of the winter, to Montreal.
Did you have any children then?
Yes, I have Sheldon. I leave when he was 2 years old.
So Sheldon is your firstborn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And fast forward, you said you moved to Montreal first, correct?
Yeah.
Why Montreal?
That's where my sister was living.
Okay.
She resided in Montreal, so I have to go there. So I spent like 3 weeks there. And then after that, I go to my uncle in Toronto. And I go back to Montreal because I said I'm not going back home, right?
Right.
So I was back and forth, making my mind up to where I want to reside. So eventually I reside in Toronto.
Okay, so you resided to Toronto. You decided Toronto was where you wanted to raise your family. And after that, you had 2 more kids, correct?
Yeah, I have Danielle.
Okay.
And then I have Anthony, the last.
Wow. So you have 2 boys and
girl.
a girl. That is truly amazing. Let's talk about Anthony. Tell us, from your lens, who is Anthony Bennett?
Anthony Bennett is quiet. When he was growing up, you didn't know he was in the room. He was humble, quiet, never give anybody any trouble. He have his 2 other siblings. He never get in their way.
Wow.
Never get in their way. I ask them all the time, and even when right now I ask them, I said, okay, how was Anthony when he was growing up? They said, oh, Mom, he's okay, never get into our way. He never get no trouble or anything. He's just in his room, he playing his game, he's watching his TV. Or when he was a little older, he was outside playing ball. So he never really get in anybody's way.
Wow. And when did you discover that, hold on a second, this son of mine has a special skill in basketball? And what did you do?
Well, you know, I never really discover him like, say, a basketball personnel, because I was working because I'm a nurse, I was doing 2 jobs. So I was living at Wilson Avenue, and it wasn't a 2-bedroom. Then I get a 4-bedroom house in Grand Ravine to accommodate my son Sheldon, Danielle, Anthony, and myself. So we were living there, and apparently I have to do 2 jobs now, right? Because that was on Ontario housing. So when you're a nurse, working and you're living in the government housing, they want all the information, they want your income, they want all of those things. So apparently, I think I was paying too much for rent there. And then I said, okay, I could get a house and pay that money for my mortgage. So I decided to work on it. And that's when I worked on it. I was doing 2 jobs. Danielle, she worked at Walmart part-time. Sheldon, he was going to school. Danielle was going to school, working part-time. And then Anthony was home. He's the youngest. So I have to get him someplace. So there's a Boys and Girls Club in Jane and Finch. So I registered him there, just across the street from me. So that's where he was going, and they help him with his schoolwork and all that. So then from there, he get into basketball. So he was just playing basketball for fun, just to entertain himself.
That is actually a fantastic story, because it seems like no one really seen his potential. And I can relate to that, because it's the same thing with my son too. No one knew that he had this special talent.
Yeah.
And us as moms, or as just non-basketball people, we just didn't recognize everything. We weren't really sure what to do or where to go. Did you have help with resources as to where to push him forward once you realized, hey, he is special, he has some kind of skill that can probably go somewhere? Was there any kind of help there for you?
Well, within help, after I leave Jane and Finch, Grand Ravine, I moved to Brampton. He was 10 years old at the time. So going to Brampton, he needed to be at a place that's secure. The same, because I'm still doing my 2 jobs. So, and then I registered him in a basketball club, and he was there playing. I dropped him sometimes, but it was difficult. So we met this coach, Mike McKenzie. So apparently Mike McKenzie take Anthony under his wing. Apparently he sees something in Anthony. I didn't see nothing, because I'm a mom. I didn't know anything about basketball. So he sees something in Anthony, and then he pick Anthony up, go to the practice, pick him up, and he was the person there for Anthony. And he told me Anthony was around 11, 12, and he was playing, and he said he see this guy go up and he dunked the ball, and he said, what? This guy is gonna be something special. So they have an eye on him, and it's like they train him and encourage him and all of that. Then he becomes to love the basketball game. So from then on, Anthony there, and he excelled and playing till he played for Ontario. And that time he was playing, we went to Kingston for a game, and there he plays, and apparently the guy makes some dunks. Yeah, he were dunking, and it's like everybody they're looking, and they said, wow, who's that guy? So Rana came over to me and asked me, that's your son? And I said, yes. He said, he's going to be something special. I said, thank you. Didn't really believe anything, right?
Of course, he was already special.
So exactly. So I played, and there were some other coaches there from the States and all of that. And they come to me and asking me, okay, can he come to the States? Can he? And I'm smiling, and I said, yeah, later. Didn't really know anything still yet going on. And he continued to play and excel and what have you. And then Anthony come to me, they talked to Anthony. And Anthony said, Mom, can I go to the States? At that time, he was like 14 going on 15. And I said, no, you're too young. I wasn't going to let Anthony go to the
course.
States at that. No, I said no. And then I said, you're too young. I said, when you're 16 going on 17, then you go. Okay, I tell him that and I forget all about that.
Well, how do you put an age on that, right? As a mom, it's so hard to let your child go. For us, it's aimlessly, right? Because we don't know, or we didn't know like what that meant to let your son just go off to a different country and play the sport that they love.
Yeah, with nobody there. You're not there for them.
Of course, because I understand as a mom, and in your case, a single mom, to raise 3 children on your own with 2 jobs, keep them entertained, keep them out of trouble.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly understand
yeah.
that. And this is why it's so inspiring, because you trusted the community pretty much,
Yeah,
the coaches and the scouts, to actually come in and say, well, hold on, Miss Bennett, this son of yours is special. Where did he go after that? What school did he go to in the United States?
When he went there, apparently when he was, I just tell him that around, like, I told him when you get 16, then you could go, right? Yeah. So apparently one day when he get the age, then he come to me and said, Mom, you promise? And I said, promise what? I totally forget about everything.
Of course.
And he said, you told me when I'm 16, I can go to the States. So it's like, I paused. I said, but then if I didn't all up to what I said, he gonna call me a liar, right?
Right.
So then I said, okay. So then that's the time we start talking to the dean and talking to other, because they want him to come so bad from a while. So the first school he went to was Mountain State in West Virginia. So we drove him down. I met the dean. I talked to the dean. I tell him, Anthony, it's my son, it's my baby, and I want to take care of him. And I get her personal number. So anything, I am there to call her all the time, right? Because I don't let up, and Anthony knows that. So he was there for a while playing, and they won games. And there was a couple of guys from Toronto were there. So that made me feel more comfortable, because there's guys that he know around there, right? So they played, and apparently they shut down the basketball program for Mountain State.
Okay.
So apparently he didn't have a place to go. So Finley Prep heard about him, and I got an email, and then I showed Anthony. I said, Anthony, I got this email. Do you know anything about it? And he read it, and he looked at the name on the top, and he said, oh, Mom, that's where I want to go. He was so excited. It's like me, why is you so excited to go to Finley Prep? What's that? And he said, Mom, you don't know. So anyways, the coach is there, and I talked to them, and they encouraged me. They said, okay, it's a good school and what have you. So apparently that's where you end up when you go to Finley Prep. So me, I talked to the dean again. I have to talk to them all the time, because knowing that I'm not going to trust Anthony to them just like that, I have to talk to them, know where he's going, how he's going to live. And he get the scholarship. Thank God he get a full scholarship. I didn't have to pay anything.
Wow.
Yeah, because it always work out for him, because the talent that he have, they sees it, but I don't.
Right.
So that's why they offering him full scholarship on all of that. I told him, you have to get your education on top of that, because that's a way, because if basketball let off, you have that to fall back on, right?
You know, what you're saying to me, I just love it, because it was the same thing. Mm-hmm. And first off, as a mom, when you say my son was brought to Finley Prep, I get it. Finley Prep is in Las Vegas. Who wants to send a young boy to Las Vegas on their own?
Exactly.
I mean, wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So it's good that you trusted in these people and said, okay, hold on a second. But as a mom, you want to make sure that education is first, because here you have this young boy who was just thinking basketball. And the degree didn't matter at the time.
No,
none of that.
that
It didn't even
mattered.
exist. I'm going to bounce the ball for the rest of my life and become this millionaire. And that was
Exactly.
already in his brain. So kudos to you, though, at the same time, for allowing that to happen. Because if it wasn't for you and the trust that you put in, this wouldn't be, we wouldn't be having this conversation about this today.
But it helps with him too, because it's like, you know, the child from he was growing up, you know what type of person he is.
Yes.
So it's like you can trust the person that, okay, they can go out there, they're not going to get in any trouble, or you trust them. Because when he was growing up, it was easy for him to like go out and with friends and do what he want to do, because listen, I'm not there. And then you know what time I'm coming home, right? You could be out there playing and fooling around, and then, okay, mom is coming home this time, so let me get in, and then you sit on the couch and then you... Exactly. So, I trust them. And I always communicate with them by phone.
Right.
So that's how I get him to go over there and trust that he will be okay.
So after Findlay Prep Las Vegas, came UNLV. Why did you as a family choose UNLV? What was about this school that you thought would be the good place for him to play?
You know, when it come to that was a long process. It was a long process because Anthony wants to go to Florida State.
Okay.
Right? I was saying to Anthony, you're already in Findlay Prep. You have families, friends, and everybody's there, right? Then now you're going to get up and go to Florida State. Who do you know there? What's there? And he said, oh, I was talking to, I think, one of the coaches, and they said, okay, there's a lot of girls there. I said, girls? So you're going for girls? I said, Anthony, you better get that out your head.
You see the mindset?
And then,
Las Vegas girls.
Exactly. Yeah, and I said, you're not going. And I just kind of finished the conversation and I leave him alone. Then he come back to me again and he said it again. And I said, Anthony, no. And I reminded him about UNLV. And then I just talked to him and I let him know again the family and everything. I said, what if anything happened to you there? Who are you going to call on? And what have you? So apparently, because when I talk, you know, I just talk and I'll tell you something. And then I leave you to your mind for you to think about it. And then he comes back to me and he said, okay, Mom, I'm going to go to UNLV. I said, good.
This is where I met Anthony, proudly holding up that Canada flag. What do these games mean to you? Watching Anthony play, watching the 18,000 people cheering on Anthony. Remember, they were just going wild. Like, as a mom, how did that make you feel?
I was very proud. Because I look back, sometimes I pinch myself and say, is this for real? Yeah. Because knowing where I'm coming from with Anthony, I know how hard I work, and then see Anthony's in that place, and then all the love he's getting from everyone, and they all support him. It's like when the game's finished, it's like, oh, Anthony this, Anthony that. I sat there and I look and I said, okay, that's good. And I see the rapport you have with the teammates and all, you know, that was great.
He was well respected on that team.
Yes,
he really was. The coaching staff.
Yeah.
I thought the coaching staff was fantastic. And I remember us just sitting there chit-chatting about that, talking about, because we felt the love that our boys had.
Oh yeah, a lot of love.
And it was a comfortable feeling versus a couple of years before when you left Anthony at that school after you spoke to the dean. I remember leaving Kemet Prep School and I cried all the way home to, you know how long it is to drive and cry? And all the way back to Canada. And Kev was like, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? I'm good and I'm good. And I'm thinking your good and my good is different. But in the end, my good didn't matter. It was irrelevant. It was his good, right?
His
so
good,
it was the same.
Sometimes you ask yourself, what did I just do? Why am I doing this? What did I, you have to question yourself after. But the thing is, I prayed and I asked God, for the strength and the courage and to protect them where they are. And it's like, I have a mindset with that part. So I prayed and I talked to him and I said for him, you have to pray all the time.
Yes.
And he said, yes, Mom. I said, did you have your Bible? And apparently when he was there, apparently the dean take him to school, to church a couple of times.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. And to keep him grounded.
Yeah, so you have to ask for strength too.
Yes, absolutely. And I remember going to see Anthony when I was there, and he was the most humble. He was probably the most humble person on the team. Yeah. I mean, my son's humble, but Anthony, he was a bit different.
Cam is humble. Cam is an humble
guy. But it was beautiful. It really was. And my next question, what made your family, what was the decision for him to declare in 2013?
Well, apparently how it was going on in UNLV, Anthony was the powerhouse there.
Yes, he was.
And it's like every coaches, everybody, they're talking about Anthony. It's like it get to the point that he could do no wrong. When Anthony's playing and he stay like a long way and then he go and he dunk the ball, it's like, is that guy flying or whatever? He developed that name RoboCop.
Yes.
Yeah, remember?
I remember that. It was RoboCop and Kem Kong. Remember?
Yeah, RoboCop. Kem Kong. That's good. That's good.
Yes.
So apparently, they played, and then he said to me that, they're talking about the draft. And I said, you're going to the draft? And I said, Anthony, just stay in school and do what you're doing. Yeah. And he said, Mom, you don't know. I said, just stay in school.
I noticed when I ask you the questions, your first thing is apparently they say. And the reason why I'm bringing that up, because it's so true, because we weren't there.
I didn't know nothing
about it. We
about
had no idea what was going on. We'd only
it.
know after the facts. I remember Kem calling me and, Mom, they told me I have to do this.
Yeah.
Mom, I have to do this. And I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? So we were the last to know as mothers,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Nobody told us anything. We would just show up to the gym, and that's what it was a lot of the times. And this is where we're saying, okay, let's see how this rides out.
Because you have to trust, you have to believe what they said.
We have to let them be themselves, right? Anthony's Anthony. And you know what? At one point, we got to let go as moms and say
But it's hard, though.
Of course it's hard.
It's hard to let go.
How do you make a 16-year-old or 17-year-old boy make his own decisions, right? If he was living in Toronto, that never would have happened. If he was just, that's it.
No, it ain't going to happen.
You said be home at 9, Anthony was home at 9. Here in Vegas,
and you know what
only
said,
God knows what time he got home,
Las
right?
Vegas,
Vegas. Take me to draft night. How did draft night go for your family?
Draft night, it was exciting. It was sad. It was all the emotion together. Why I said that? Because when Anthony was declared for the draft, we went to UNLV. Apparently, we already booked our flight to go to UNLV to speak to the dean and all of that about it and everything. And 3 days before that, I was coming home from work. I got a call. Guess what? Your sister passed away.
Oh.
And I said, what? Because I spoke to my sister like 2 days before that. She was okay. So I didn't believe it anyway. So I drove home and then my brother called me and then he said it again. And I said, what? He said, she's okay. And then he's telling me what happened and whatnot. So she got an aneurysm.
Okay.
Just sudden. So, okay, I have to go to UNLV, help Anthony with the draft. I have to speak to people, smile on my face, everything. Then the draft is coming up next. So apparently I have to deal with that. So apparently I go to UNLV, I speak to them. When I go into the hotel room, it's like I was there making preparation for the funeral and everything. So draft day, we went to Brooklyn, the same thing, So it's like I have to be there smiling, do an interview and talking to people, be so sad. But this is my son. This is what he wants. And he's so happy reaching this point because not every kid reached that point in life.
That's right.
So I have to be there with him, interviews and everything. So that draft day, it's like, I was happy and Anthony was so excited. But he was worried about me. So I tell him, okay, don't worry about me. We'll deal with that afterwards. So focus on what you're doing. And he said, yes, he always, Mom, you good? Mom, you good? I said, yeah, I'm good. But the thing is with me, I always have a smile on my face. It doesn't matter what. Nobody knows that I'm going through anything. I always have a smile.
It is so hard sometimes to maintain strong inside, even outside, to show people that everything is great.
Yeah.
And here
It's
I'm looking
not.
at a beautiful woman who raised 3 children, single mom, had 2 jobs, had to make sure that the community is, when you're at work, there for your kids,
Yeah.
has a child that is in a different country doing what you're trusting is what you would want him to do. And then you hear the sad news about the passing of your sister at the same
yeah.
time that your son
Yeah.
has
It's a
this
clear-
opportunity to do what millions of boys on this planet only dream of doing and never get the chance to do.
Yeah.
Tell me now, with all the sadness that you had and the tears and the joy and the laughter, what went through your head when the commissioner gets up to the stage and says, 2013 number 1 draft pick is Anthony Bennett?
With the first pick in the 2013 NBA draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Anthony Bennett of Toronto, Canada, and the University of Nevada.
What went through your mind?
Apparently, what went through my mind, funny you said about that. What went through my mind before that, before the draft, is like you have this nervousness, you have this excitement, it's like everything mixed together. So I'm just going over in my head, and I said, oh, what if when I go in the draft, they said, okay, the first pick is Anthony Bennett. Then I said, what would you do? I'm talking to myself, you know. But I said, oh, I'm going to clap, and I laugh and hug Anthony. It's like, and lo and behold, when I was there, that's the same thing happened. The first draft pick is Anthony Bennett. It's like, wow, I jumped, and it's like my heart was going.
Of course.
And then Anthony get up, is so excited because we didn't expect first.
Number 1.
We didn't expect it. He did not expect it. We're expecting him to go like 5th or 6th or so. But number 1, no.
Like your son made history that night. The
Yes.
first Canadian.
Yes.
That is, I remember watching it at home, and I'm sitting here thinking, wow, this is the same child
Yeah.
that I was. To me, he was a child, right?
Yeah, the same
And
kid.
I was just talking to him a couple of days
the
ago,
same
and he was
kid.
like, yeah, going to the draft. Well,
Same
whatever.
kid. Yeah.
And here he's made history. I mean, we were running around the living room in my house, and everybody was losing
Yeah.
their minds, and it's bittersweet because we know who he is.
Yeah.
Not just a child that, to me, I just know of him.
Right.
I'm thinking, I know Anthony. Anthony's like family.
Number
So,
1.
Yes, number 1. So congratulations to your family for everything.
Yeah, what I was saying is like, wow, look at me. I said, little country girl have a son. Number 1 draft pick. It's like, is that for real?
It's kind of
so
hard
yes.
to take that in, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So moving forward, he got drafted to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Cleveland Cavaliers, yeah.
And then I believe he was traded.
Yeah, to
shortly
Minnesota.
after. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was that feeling? Like, was it a shock? Did you understand?
I didn't really understand. Listen, it took me a while to understand
course,
basketball and to know what's going on. Because when he was drafted for Cleveland, we were so excited. And it was so close to us, just 4 hours drive.
Of course.
So he played. And apparently before that, when he was drafted, he got injured his left shoulder. So he had a surgery on it. So he didn't do the combine.
Right.
That's
Yep.
what they call it, right? He didn't do it and all of that. So he was healing. And then he was drafted first. So apparently he was there, so they put him out to play after that. He needed to do more playing time to get back his shoulder, in gear and all of that. But apparently he was out there and playing, so he wasn't doing well.
Yeah.
So you'd expect that. He wasn't doing well. And then the other thing is, knowing you're a little 19-year-old kid, your idol is like LeBron James and all of those guys. And then you're on the same court with them. how are you gonna feel?
Of course.
How are you gonna feel? Tell me, there's nobody gonna say, okay, they're gonna be there and then they're gonna feel like, okay, I'm this tough guy and I'm this. It's like you're gonna be nervous and you're gonna be, there's a lot of feelings gonna overcome you. Then you're gonna have to take time to get over it. And then with the injury again, so apparently they traded him to Minnesota. So we had to go up there and get him settled and all that.
Now, I understand, as I'm listening to you, it must have been a lot of pressure. Because here you have this young boy now whose life has completely altered. Whole other game now he has to play. And like you said, he grew up with his idol watching LeBron James. Exactly. And now he's like, wait, we're playing on the same team?
Beside,
well,
that's
it.
Exactly.
That's it. And he must have felt away because now he has to measure up.
Yeah.
Because now you're playing with LeBron James. It's not a matter of you looking at it on a TV network.
No, that's you. You have to do it.
That's it. So did Anthony have a lot of pressure? Did he feel a certain way? Did sometimes he feel, hey, I'm not good enough at this point?
There was a lot of pressure. Yeah. And the pressure comes from being the number one.
Yes.
They're looking at the number one. What is this number one going to do? Like, do the impossible? Number one. Take the number one away from it. It's a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Treat the 19-year-old as a 19-year-old.
It must have been really hard because now life starts and a whole different other life is starting for him where, like you're saying, a 19-year-old, nobody sees that.
No.
They see number one.
Yeah.
When you're in UNLV, you were the best player.
Exactly.
Now you're playing with LeBron. You're going to be great
Exactly.
and you're going to do all these things. And here
Yeah.
he gets there and he's like, well, hold on a second. I'm not LeBron. I'm Anthony. Treat me as Anthony. And where people did all these comparisons, it must have been very difficult for him because the expectancies are different.
Yeah.
When you have a seasoned player like LeBron, and then here you have a child who's new to the NBA, drafted number one or not.
And don't really know what to do in the NBA.
Of course.
You have to learn. You have to get chances.
Did Anthony tell that to you? Did he ever share those feelings with you?
Yeah, we talk a lot. And he confided in me a lot.
Okay.
Because when he's going through things, he called me and he talked to me and I encourage him. And tell him, okay, and then the other thing is the social media. I said to him, stay away from social media because, kids, there's social media and then this comes up, that comes up, and then that will get you rattled, So I said, stay away from social media.
My son said to me that he stopped looking at social media because when he did at the beginning, it used to make him angry.
Yeah,
because there's a million people that love you. And the same million or sometimes two. That's
around.
Right. That
yes,
do not
exactly.
like you. And
exactly.
I used to tell him, well, look at the good stuff. Like, never mind the bad stuff. Because sometimes you have no choice but to look, or you're just nosy and you want to see what's out there. And I noticed later on, his curiosity just got less and less. And he didn't, because he kept saying to me, I have to focus on myself and getting my game better.
Oh, yeah.
So
I said stay away from it totally, because
that's great advice.
How are you going to look on the good and you're not going to see the bad?
Yeah.
You're going to have to see both.
Yes.
So might as well don't look at it.
As a mom, it must be hard, because having your son tell you all these good and bad things, they're in this position like that, like we were saying, millions would die to
get to that position.
To get to that position. And here these millions are the same ones that have bad things to say about them, right?
Exactly.
So, from Minnesota, where did he go?
Minnesota, I think he went to Brooklyn. No, Raptors, actually. See, he go to so many places.
He went through a lot of circuits.
Yeah.
Yes.
From Minnesota, go to the Raptors, which I wasn't happy about that at all.
Why not? He was home back in
He was home.
Toronto.
I loved him. I want him to be close to me, but I said, no, that's not a good idea, because he was born there, raised there, friends are there, So what is he going to do? Friends?
I love that you're saying that, because a couple of years before that, you didn't want him to go. As you get the experience and you're now the basketball mom, you're like, don't come back here.
Yeah.
Because now
Exactly.
we're going to have millions of more friends that never existed. We're going to have family
Exactly.
members coming out of the woodworks
Right.
all of a sudden.
Right.
And you understood at that point, hold on a second. No, it's about your career.
Exactly.
And do not, I would prefer that you're not here. So there must have been a lot of pressure with him being back in Toronto.
Home. Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. He come back to Toronto. He get a condo downtown, in the middle of downtown, and all the friends and everybody's there all the time. And it's like whenever time I go down there, it's like I get so hungry, and I say, what they're doing here? And whenever time they see me coming, it's like they're kind of scared because I speak my mind. I don't really hold back anything. I speak and I tell them. I said, Anthony, you're there with them. You have to go practice tomorrow. Where are they going to be?
Yeah.
They're not going to go practice for you. You have to answer to everything.
Yeah.
So you have to put your career first.
It's so hard for boys of that age or young men of that age to understand that, because here they don't realize I'm a celebrity. And my friends are my friends, and some of them are great, some of them aren't.
Yeah.
But your friends are a reflection of what you do. The friends just
Yeah.
want to come hang out with you
yeah.
because you're the star.
Exactly.
But at the same time, they're not really that good all the time. So it is difficult to have like the good people around you, right? So
Yeah.
after the Raptors,
They trade into Brooklyn.
that's right.
So it's been going around in circles. So
Wow.
Brooklyn, it was okay. Because I was happy to get from Toronto to there.
How long was he there?
Not for long. I don't really know the length of time he was there because I don't really follow that. But he was doing good until they trade him again. Apparently, after Brooklyn, I think he went to overseas.
Right. This is where he went to Turkey.
Yeah.
What was it like to know now your son is, now he's up the continent, never mind
That's
a different
far,
country.
different
Now he's
place.
going to Turkey. What went through your mind?
Apparently, at that time, he was older. So it's like, I know how he was living when he was like in the States and all over. So I said, okay, yeah, now he can hold his own. So it gave me comfort knowing that, you know, he knows right from wrong. He knows what to do. And then now that time, he had a girlfriend. So now I got help to worry about him. So, so then the girlfriend was there a little bit with him.
Okay.
So I feel a little bit better. So he was there playing, but we communicate a lot. We communicate all the time.
Well, it's good that he had someone with him. When my son went to Turkey, he went by himself.
Yeah.
And it's scary going to a different country, not understanding the language. You know nobody. You don't even know your teammates until you get there. So you're really putting everything on the staff.
But there's a coach there from Canada, right?
Not in Kem's team.
No? Oh,
No.
okay.
So it was like, okay, well, there you go. See you. I mean, in the end, the experience was good, but just the going must have been difficult, which is why I was
Yeah.
asking. But it's good that Anthony had somebody there.
Yeah, his girlfriend was there.
Anthony Bennett, where is he now?
Right now he's in on the Rockets.
Beautiful.
You know, that boy, I said he had determination. He had the strength. He goes through a lot. But I said to him, don't give up. What he said before, when he was in UNLV, he said to the coach, he said, my mom can do it, work 2 jobs and stuff. I can do it because I work hard. I said that for him. And then now he's not giving up. He goes and he grind and he plays and he ignore everything that everyone have to say. And I always said to him, you know what? You have to tell your own story. Nobody's there to tell it for you. I said, everybody have a different path. This person might have it easy. You're going to have it hard. Sometimes you go around the road. Sometimes this person go the short way. But you are going to end up the same place, but different time frame, right? So you have to do you, go your course, I said, trust God, because God don't take you here to leave you. Because I said, God is the one that let you go, number one. Nobody knows who did it for you. It's God, right?
That's right.
So he said, yes, Mom. And see, he's trying, and don't give up. Now the Rockets call him. Now he's there. So we only pray and hope and trust in God that that's where he's going to be.
It's nice to hear that he did listen to you. You know, we think that we say, we talk to our boys and they don't listen, but they're listening, and he knows that you were always there holding his hand through this entire process. Yeah. So now that he's in Houston, I mean, this is such a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for Anthony, and for him to be back in the NBA.
Yes, I'm happy, and
it's such
I'm
a
proud
blessing.
of him. I'm proud of him. And one thing he said to me, he came home the other day and we were talking for over an hour. And the good thing when a person look back and see where they're coming from and what they do wrong, that's when you know that they see what's in front of them. Sometimes when you don't look and see where you do wrong, where you're coming from and what you did wrong, there's no hope for you then. But when you look and you see all that, you can take the good from the bad, and then, okay, I get a different chance, another chance. So now I know what I'm not going to do from what I'm going to do. And he knows that, and he sees that. So he's becoming a strong young man.
It's like self-reflection, right?
Exactly.
He looked back when he was 19 to today. Anthony's 26 today?
26, yeah. 26.
So he's such a different person.
Yeah.
Then that he is now.
Totally different.
Regardless of what people say,
yeah,
I believe it's all because of Mom. Anthony knows that in his head, this is, my mom was my rock, or is my rock. She's that person that will say, no, I don't want to listen, but at the same time, she always has my back.
Oh yeah, just talk to him and then leave him, and then you think about it. Doesn't matter where he is. They travel playing. He was on UNLV playing. They travel, I think it was Texas or what have you. I'm in my bed sleeping. Phone ring. Anthony called me. Oh, what happened? Oh, Mom, I can't breathe. Where is the coach? He's in his room. So I said, go call the coach. No, I don't want to go wake him up. I said, go wake him up. Apparently, he ate a cookie. He's allergic to peanuts.
Oh.
So go wake the coach up. Don't call me. I'm all the way in Toronto. So, and then he said he's not going to wake him up. I said, okay, go knock the door and then I'll talk to him. So he get up and he go and he knock the door, and then I talk to the coach. And then he went downstairs and get things for him. I said, Anthony, you can't do that. Me, I'm here, So it doesn't matter what, where he is, he called me.
That is so funny how he reverted back to a child where
I
need my mom, I can't breathe. I'm not going to call 911. I'm going to call my mom and she has to be here and come. What?
I know.
That's actually very funny. I was going to ask you a funny story about Anthony. And it's so funny how our children trust us with their lives.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Anthony, he was so far away, and he was like, no, I'm gonna call my mom. She's a nurse, and she's gonna tell me what to do over the phone. I can't breathe, and it's okay. I'll call her.
Help. Still a kid, eh?
He will always be your kid.
Always.
Regardless.
Doesn't matter.
Regardless. He could be in his 40s, his 50s, and he's still gonna be your kid.
Oh yeah.
So it's so wonderful. Please tell me, what would you like to leave with us today? Any lessons? What I'm asking is, what did you learn through this process? What would you want to tell other parents about this whole basketball life? What do you want to leave them with and say, hey, I suggest or don't suggest? What was important for you?
What I always said to them, because people always comes up to me and asks me, and I said to them, trust your child, be there for them. And when they're going out with the coaches or whatever, you always find out, is a coach in there for the right reason, or are they there for the money, right? How are you going to know that? But question, talk to your child. Let your child know what's right from wrong. And if there's any funny thing, just come to you and tell you, right? So that's why we started this program, MOPAA, Mothers of Professional Athletes Association, because I said, since everyone is asking us, so might as well try to develop something that we can give back. So me and Suzette and Charmaine, we comes up with this MOPAA. We support, encourage, help the mothers and the kids with any question that they have, basketball, and if we don't have the answers, we contact others that get answers and then give back to them. Because when we were going through this thing, we didn't have the support. We didn't know anything.
So you want to be the resource that you were
Yes.
looking for in the past. Now you said
Yes.
Suzette and Charmaine.
Yeah.
So this is Suzette Ennis, Tyler
Suzette
Ennis's mom,
Ennis, yeah.
and Charmaine.
And Charmaine, Nick Lewis's mom.
So the three of you put this association together,
Together.
MOPA.
Yeah.
And I actually seen some of your events,
Yeah.
and I think it's wonderful that what you're doing in Toronto is giving back.
Yeah,
because
give back to
it
the
is
kid.
scary. It is difficult when you don't understand and you don't want to lead your child down the wrong path, or
yeah.
some parents just don't. There's just ignorant to some information, right?
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
and some don't understand that, you know what, it's a good thing for you to look into, believe in your child, believe in the process, and
Follow up on what your child said,
Yes.
because sometimes, the coaches will tell the child, okay, yeah, we'll let you go to the States, we'll let you do this, and then you're a mom now, you want the best for your child, and you said, oh yeah, that's good, and they wanted, like, say maybe $1,000, $5,000. You're gonna try your best to give the money, right? So you want to know, where's that money going to, right? So you just don't want to do that.
well, first, where's it coming from? Never. Where are you going to get $5,000?
Exactly.
And who needs $5,000 to make my child go to the future, right?
Yeah.
Or to build a career. And sometimes parents think that's what needs to be done, and it's not necessarily true. Did you face any kind of adversity like that? Was someone coming to you and saying, Edith, I think Anthony should run this path, and I can help you with this? And did you have any hold on, I don't really trust this person with
Apparently there was one coaches come to my home. I was at work. Anthony answered the door, and then they talked to him and said, okay, we could get you this and we could get you that and what have you. And I said to Anthony, what's that coach? And he tell me, and I said, oh, forget about him. I just ignore it. I ignored it totally.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And listen, I'm a person, I don't really take the first saying that you told me. I don't. I look, I smile. You don't really know what I'm thinking.
That's right.
I just smile, and then you think, oh yeah, I got her. So yeah, that's good. But they don't know they don't know that I'm one step ahead of them.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
The way I see it is, if someone approaches my son, that's a problem, especially when they're minors. And they approach and say, don't worry, I'm going to get you and your mom the house and the car. I heard all of that. And I used to say to my son, who's this? And then he would say it's so-and-so. And I'd be like, well, why is he calling you?
Exactly.
And just the mere fact that he will go to the kid first, just to get the kid all riled up and tell him all these wonderful things, and not come to the parent first. To me, right there, I knew that was someone that couldn't be trusted.
Yeah, just
so
forget
kudos
it.
to you for
forget
recognizing that and not having, because there are some stories out there of families
There's
that we
lots.
know where
Lots.
that's right. And now this player is not in the basketball world anymore, or he's playing community ball, all because he put his trust in that one person that sought for the money and was an opportunist on our kids' backs, pretty much. They're riding on the kids' back saying, hey, this kid's going to make it to the NBA. I'm going to represent him. No experience, and not even wanting to get the experience, just automatically thinking they had it. And
it's
scary.
not every kids make it to the NBA. Not everyone. So it's like, that's the thing they said. You're going to go to the NBA. And then now every kid dribbling the ball out there, they're going to make it to the NBA.
False dreams,
That's not good. So I tell the mother, the parents actually, be there for them and to steer them in the right way. Sometimes they're going to listen. Sometimes they're not going to listen. They're going to rebel. But what are you going to stand your ground? Don't give in to the child because you want the child to like you. or the child to become your best friend.
Yeah.
No, you have to stand your ground.
That's very important, because there's always, when you give our kids false hope, that can have some kind of mental,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
To me, that's mental abuse.
It's
when you're sitting there
mental.
telling
Oh,
somebody,
yes.
yeah, don't worry, you're going to make it to the NBA, and don't worry, and this is what you're going to be, and they don't become that.
And then
to
what
me,
happened
that
after?
that's right. Well, that's it. And it doesn't make them try as hard because they were already told that they're going to be in the NBA. So why am I going to try harder? I'm great doing what I'm doing now. I don't have to continue
And
working
this
hard.
person tell me that person tell me that. But what are you doing towards it?
Well, I used to look at the coaches and say, you don't even have any contacts within the NBA. Like, you know what I mean? So how do you know this child of mine is going to be in the NBA? Like, what makes you think this? Like, you have no power over any of that. And so I feel what you're saying.
Yeah, because it's a kid, and like when you tell a kid something, they're gonna hold you to it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely. I feel so blessed having you here, Edith. It's bittersweet for me.
I'm happy to be here because you know what? Our journey, it's not easy.
It's not.
People will be on the outside and looking at it and said, okay, yeah, it's in the NBA. The mom is this, the mom is that. No, it's not easy. And you have to be humble.
People have the perception that because our sons are in the NBA, that life is all glitz and glamour. Mm-hmm. And they don't see the struggles behind it. They just think that Anthony woke up, bounced the ball twice, and now he's this kid that has all this money.
Hard work.
And they don't really see
sacrifices.
That's right. And this is what this is about, because I want to share the sacrifices that we had to go through, letting our child run off pretty much to
so we have to
different
sacrifice.
countries.
We have to sacrifice a lot.
Yes.
And let that happen. And you trust your child too. And I'm telling you,
it's all the goodness that we instill, right?
Yeah, I'm
so
proud.
how
I'm
could
proud
you not
of.
be proud of Anthony?
I'm proud of. Oh yeah,
But
I'm proud of them.
Be proud of Edith.
Yeah.
Because
you know, I never really look at me. I always point fingers and said, okay, I'm proud of them, but I always put myself on the back burner. I don't know. I always do that.
That's a mother's instinct, and that's okay. But today, stand up and say, you know what? I'm proud of myself. I am amazing. My son is amazing. He's doing his all to be all he can be, and it's obviously a reflection from you. Anthony knows and he understands where he's at and why he's there, and the Anthony I know is now back playing for the Rockets, and he's saying, I'm going to continue to make my mom and my family proud. So good for you, Edith. And I thank you so much.
Yes,
you
thanks for having me, my dear.
Truly a blessing.
Thank
you, sweetheart.
Me.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and see you guys next time on Courtside Mom.
I do it naturally. I do it naturally, baby. I'm every woman. It's all in me. Anything you want done, baby. I'm every woman. It's all in me. Anything you want done, baby. I do it naturally.